Once upon a time, in a quiet village surrounded by lush green hills, there was a tall old tree standing by the side of the road. This tree had been there for generations, providing shade, shelter, and fruit to the travelers who passed by. It was a silent witness to the changing seasons, watching over the village and its people with a quiet wisdom. One day, a group of children were playing near the tree. They were chasing each other, their laughter echoing through the air as they darted around the tree's thick trunk. One of the boys tripped and fell, scraping his knee on the rough bark. Tears welled up in his eyes. The tree, though unable to speak, seemed to understand his pain. A gentle breeze rustled its leaves, whispering words of comfort. As if sensing the boy's sadness, the tree bent down a branch, letting the boy lean on it. Slowly, a smile returned to the boy's face. He felt a strange connection with the tree, a sense of solace that surprised him. As the years went by, the tree continued to stand tall, its roots anchoring it firmly in the earth. It witnessed the joys and sorrows of the villagers, providing shade for weary travelers and sheltering animals seeking refuge. Its branches, gnarled and twisted, became a playground for generations of children. Each scratch and scar on its bark was a story, a memory, etched in wood. Then one particularly hot summer's day, as the sun beat down on the village, a young man named Eli came walking along the road. He too was drawn to the shade of the old tree. Unlike the carefree children, Eli was troubled. His shoulders were slumped, his eyes downcast. The weight of his worries was evident in the heavy steps. As he sat under the tree, he didn't notice the intricate patterns on the bark or the sunlight filtering through the leaves. Instead, he stared at the ground, lost in his thoughts. The tree, with its ancient wisdom, understood. It had seen many troubled souls seeking solace in its shade. In its own silent way, it reached out. A gentle breeze brushed against Eli's face, lifting his head so he could look up. The tree swayed slightly, as if offering a comforting gesture. It was a subtle touch, yet it made Eli pause. He looked around, realizing he wasn't alone. The birds in the tree sang sweetly, the leaves whispered secrets to the wind, and the world seemed to be full of life. For the first time in what felt like forever, Eli allowed himself to relax. As the afternoon wore on, he shared his troubles with the tree. He spoke of his failed dreams, his disappointments, and the challenges he faced. The tree listened patiently, its branches swaying in empathy. It didn't offer empty platitudes or try to fix his problems. It just listened, and in that silence Eli found a strange sort of comfort. He realized that the tree, in its quiet way, understood him better than anyone else ever had. It didn't judge him for his failures or question his choices. It simply offered a space for him to unload his burdens. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the ground, Eli stood up. To leave, he hesitated, unsure of how to express his gratitude. He looked up at the tree, its leaves rustling softly in the evening breeze. In that moment, he understood that the tree had given him more than just comfort. It had reminded him of the beauty and serenity that existed in the world. It had shown him that sometimes the best thing you can do when you're troubled is to step back and appreciate the simple things. From that day on, Eli made it a point to visit the tree whenever he felt overwhelmed. It became his sanctuary, a place where he could be honest about his feelings without fear of judgment. He learned that the tree didn't expect anything in return for its kindness. It simply gave because it could, and in doing so, it taught him an invaluable lesson about the power of unconditional support. Years passed, and Eli grew older. He started a family of his own, and the old tree continued to stand tall, a silent observer of his life. It watched him become a father, a husband, and then a grandfather. Through it all, the tree remained a constant presence, offering solace and strength whenever Eli needed it. However, as time went on, the seasons took their toll on the tree. It began to lose some of its leaves earlier each year. Its branches, once strong and sturdy, became brittle and some even fell off, leaving gaping holes in the canopy. Still, the tree endured, its roots holding firm in the face of adversity. One crisp autumn day, Eli came to sit under the tree. As he leaned against its trunk, he noticed deep cracks running through it. His heart sank as he realized that the tree was nearing the end of its life. He knew that soon it might not be able to provide shade or shelter anymore. A wave of sadness washed over him. He had come to rely on the tree not only for emotional support, but also as a link to his past, a reminder of the younger, more hopeful version of himself. But as he sat there, enveloped by the tree's comforting presence, he remembered the lessons it had taught him. He recalled how the tree had shown him the beauty in simplicity, the strength in resilience, and the importance of unconditional kindness. These lessons were etched in his heart, and they wouldn't disappear when the tree did. With a heavy heart, Eli continued to visit the tree throughout its final days. He talked to it about his worries, his hopes, and the bittersweet feeling of impending loss. The tree listened patiently, its branches swaying in response to his words. Even as its leaves turned brown and fell to the ground, it held on, clinging to life with a tenacity that inspired Eli. Then, one day, the tree didn't wake up. When Eli arrived, he found that it had quietly passed away during the night. A deep sadness enveloped him. He stood there for a long time, his hand resting on the rough bark, feeling the coldness that had seeped into the wood. It was as though a part of him had been taken away. As the days turned into weeks, Eli felt the absence of the tree keenly. He missed leaning against its trunk, listening to the whispers of its leaves, and sharing his burdens with its silent wisdom. The world seemed a little less vibrant without the tree's presence. Then one spring morning, as the first buds were beginning to appear on the branches of other trees, Eli noticed something. At the base of the old tree, new shoots were pushing through the soil, reaching towards the sunlight. They were tiny, fragile, and yet they represented new life, growth, and hope. In that moment, Eli understood. The tree might be gone, but its spirit lived on in these new saplings. Just as the tree had given him strength and guidance in his time of need, it was now passing on that legacy to the next generation. With a newfound sense of purpose, Eli took care of the saplings. He watered them, shielded them from harsh weather, and pruned their branches to ensure they grew strong. It was a labor of love, a way to honor the memory of the old tree while embracing the promise of new beginnings. As the years went by, the saplings grew into young trees. Their roots spread wide, anchoring them firmly in the earth, and their branches reached towards the sky, symbolizing growth and aspirations. They stood as a testament to the enduring power of nature and the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth. And whenever Eli sat under their shade, he felt the presence of the old tree. He could almost hear its leaves rustling in the wind, sharing stories of the past and offering words of wisdom. The cycle continued, and with each passing season, the young trees grew taller, stronger, and wiser, ready to stand the test of time just as their parent tree had done. Moral of the story: true friends give without asking anything in return. Like the tree, real love is about giving, caring, and always being there, even when there's not much left to give.